Welcome back to Smitty's Learning Room. Today we're going to have a look at how recovery strategies affect performance. So when we have a look at the syllabus, we're looking at the focus question, how can nutrition and recovery strategies affect performance? We come down to the syllabus dot point recovery strategies, and under this dot point we explore the concepts of physiological strategies including cool down and hydration, neural strategies including hydrotherapy and massage, tissue damage strategies including cryotherapy, and psychological strategies, for example relaxation.
So I'd just like to introduce you to Smitty. Now Smitty is a triathlete and she generally does lots of triathlons in the distance of half Ironman, which is looking at an endurance event. So you've got a 1.9 kilometre swim, a 90k bike ride and a half marathon of 21.1 kilometres. As well as doing that as her main event, she also does a couple of shorter distance ones, some off-road triathlons, and has done a full Ironman before. Most of the events she does are generally endurance events, so they last for more than 60 minutes and can go into sort of the 3, 4, 5 plus hour mark. So she's got a little bit of experience in relation to nutrition and supplementation and also recovery strategies and what that actually does to performance. Yeah, thanks for the introduction, Smitty. Really looking forward to having a chat to Year 12 students about how they can use nutrition and recovery strategies and how they affect performance. Recovery is probably one of the most important parts of training for an athlete, and it often goes sort of missed, or athletes forget about it. They finish a training session and then off they go, or they've had a really big weekend of training and just ignore it and put their feet up on the couch and have some fatty foods and get ready to go on the Monday. But at the end of the day, recovery is really important for three things. So obviously the first thing is to help our body repair itself and recover from any sport that's happened. It's really important to help us replenish energy stores and to repair muscles. And the other thing is it's important to help us get ready for the next training session or the next game that we're about to play. So when we look at physiological ways to recover, the most obvious one is a cool down. It's really important for athletes to have a proper cool down process. I know that as an endurance athlete we tend to sort of finish our race and we're so exhausted we forget to recover properly. Sometimes that cool down for us could be that we're just walking around or we've actually stopped straight away, and then we might sort of get up and walk back to the finish line or walk back to where our supporters are, that sort of thing. But obviously in sports such as team sports, the cool down is generally quite an extended process, which can sometimes be as long as what the warm-up is, and that's to sort of allow our body to slowly stop doing the movements that we've just done to allow for us to get oxygen back into our muscles and to try and help us remove the lactic acid that's built up and fatigue that's happened in our muscles. The other physiological type of warm down is in relation to hydration, and we already talked about that in relation to pre, post and during performance. But in relation to having a look at recovery, hydration is really important to ensure that our muscles have water supplies to them and our body is hydrated. Given our body is 70% water, we need to make sure that it stays 70% water post training or post race or event. If our body is not hydrated, we're going to obviously recover a lot slower than what we would if it is hydrated. So it's really important to make sure that we hydrate our body with water. Some athletes will choose, if they've been going for more than an hour, to hydrate with electrolyte supplements, but that's usually for endurance athletes. So there's some ways that we can actually recover in relation to neural processes to our body, and one of these is having a look at hydrotherapy. So this can conform in probably the most common one is a hot and cold shower, and what this does is it actually allows our body to remove the lactic acid from our muscles, which sort of helps us decrease stiffness and soreness in the muscles, which obviously allows us to return to play or training a lot quicker. The other neural one that most athletes will have exposure to is massage, and this allows us to get the blood flowing back through the muscles again, and also for the masseuse or the person who's applying the massage to work on trigger points or points of soreness to try and ease that out for us. When we look at recovery in relation to tissue damage, we look at this concept called cryotherapy, which is basically just applying ice. And going back to principles of first aid, we know we apply ice to stop blood flow to the area and to decrease temperature. Stopping the blood flow to the area will decrease swelling and allow the area that's been injured or the tissue that's been injured to heal properly. So that's generally by the application of ice or the immersion into cold water. Another way that we can use to recover or help our body sort of wind down from performance or training is to have a look at psychological ways, and one of the most common ways of that is with meditation or relaxation sort of therapy. This is quite common for athletes that have done some kind of performance in which they're probably not impressed with, and their mental capacity has sort of been affected in a negative way. So an athlete may choose to recover by stimulating their psychological aspects. So obviously by engaging in meditation and relaxation techniques, this helps reframe an athlete's thoughts, get them ready to prepare and set new goals for, say, the new training week or the next race or the next game. It's also another way if, say, an athlete sort of is quite wired after a training session, it can help them sort of refocus again for the next day or the next session.
So remember that this video on recovery strategies is one of 3 videos for this focus question. There's also a video on nutritional requirements for pre, during and post performance. And also another video on supplementation that are before this recovery strategies video. So make sure that you've watched all 3 videos to make sure that you have the content for the focus question: how do nutritional requirements and recovery strategies affect performance?